World's Finest number 0, written by Paul Levitz, art by Kevin McGuire and Wes Craig. This is the just Earth 2 origin stories of Robin and Supergirl, who become Huntress and Power Girl. So we open up in Gotham City, where it's apparently Robin's first night out, taking out some thugs, and we see that she's accompanied by her adult guardian figure on the rooftop as she leaps down and starts taking out the thugs who are seemingly just mugging some poor woman. And they've got a gun, so we walk through her whole mental process of like, okay, take out the guy with the gun first, then focus on the bigger guy, and then move to the least threatening ones. And she works through the fight, and then finally she gets down to the last one, who has a knife to the throat of the woman, and she's like, okay, all right, I give up, I surrender. And she puts her hands up and then throws a throwing knife through the hand of the guy, having him drop the knife, and then kicks him in the face to knock him out. And the girl that was being mugged, she's like, oh, thank you so much, and she runs off. And we see that it wasn't Batman who was watching this, it was actually Robin's mother, Catwoman, who is like, oh, you've done such a good job, kitten. So she's happy to see her child succeeding, while Batman is off fighting the apocalyptian army, like all over the world, with Superman and Wonder Woman. So they're the ones taking care of Gotham. But the next morning, Bruce is back in town, and he is not happy that his daughter went out crime fighting. And Selina's fighting for Helena's sake. She's like, no, look, she did great. She did a fine job. And someone has to be here to protect Gotham. You definitely aren't available anymore. You're off Justice Leaguing and taking care of the world. Like, this is something that needs to happen. She's trained. She's watched over by me. Like, someone has to take care of this place. And Bruce is like, we agreed. And she's like, you agreed with yourself. I didn't agree to nothing. And as they're fighting, they just lean in close and start making out. And Elena's like, okay, all right, well, I don't want to be here for this. So then we cut over to Supergirl, who's practicing throwing boulders like across the ocean. And as she's doing so, Superman's like, okay, you're doing good, but you're 4 degrees off. You need to work on that. And she's like, nobody's perfect, cousin. And Superman's like, yeah, but you need to be perfect. Here's the deal. Darkseid, the Apocalyptic Army, they know about me. They know about Superman. They don't know about you. We need to keep you secret, and we need to keep you under wraps until you are fully trained enough that you can go in and you can be our like secret weapon. Because remember, and we see scars all over Superman's back, and he's like, they can hurt us. They are able to do that. They have that ability. And he also says, and also, like, I'm keeping you secret because I can't stand to lose you too. And he goes over how he lost Lois. She was betrayed in the Daily Planet building, and Superman didn't make it until it was already too late. So he's got some guilt on his own side of things. And then they have a brief conversation trying to figure out, like, how did Supergirl manage to stay young while Clark aged up on this Earth? And he's like, I've genuinely no idea. But anyway, there's an alarm going off. Something's happening in Rome. I gotta go. And then we cut back to Robin, who's training in the Batcave, and she sees an alarm go off on the Batcave computer. And basically, it's an alarm that apparently means that either Batman or Catwoman, someone who's out in the field right now, needs help. Like, and they are not the type to ever use that alarm. So she knows something big must be going on. And she makes her way over to this burning building. It's a warehouse, and Batman's already there. And he's grieving because Catwoman was the one who showed up. She thought it was an arms deal, just a normal gun runner thing. But it turns out it was Apocalyptian tech, and she was caught in the crossfire, and she's dead. So Batman's grieving. Robin kisses her mother's hand and then runs into the building to basically take out these guys, show them vengeance. And Batman, he's too injured. He was also caught in some crossfire. He can't make his way in. But as Robin's running into the building, he calls over the Justice League comms and says, like, somebody come here and save my daughter. So Robin's inside. It's very smoky. She's not able to see too far, but she's able to see some guys. She takes a few of them out, but then they more and more keep piling in. And she's like, I probably should have thought about this, but I was so caught in the moment. Like, I'm done for. And at that moment, the wall cracks open and Supergirl comes in. And Robin's caught off guard. She's never met Supergirl. And she's like, what the, huh? And Supergirl's like, yeah, Superman sent me. Or rather, an alarm went off at his base. And he told me that I was only able to answer the alarm if Batman called. Because if Batman was to call, it was going to be super duper serious. So they're both currently hovering over the top of the building. And everyone thinks that it's Superman that swept in and saved Robin. Even Batman. He's like, oh, thank you so much, Cal. God, I needed that. So they go back down into the building and just start wrecking shop because now they've got Supergirl powers on their side. And as they make their way through, they see a portal that very quickly is vanishing in the back room. And they're unable to follow it through, but they're like, huh, okay, so this was apocalyptic tech. That's something to keep in mind now. And Supergirl sees Robin is grieving over someone, doesn't quite know who, but it's like, well, it looks like you had an awful day. By the way, I'm your friend now, and I'm here for you no matter what you need. So, yeah, that's their first like mission together, I guess you could call it. I think it was very good. They hadn't really delved in that deeply to the fact that Robin's mother was Catwoman. It was mentioned, and it's obviously known about, but this really adds an extra layer to Catwoman died as a result of this war, which doubles down on not only Batman's side of things, but also gives Robin, aka Helena, this deeper sense as to why she's fighting and why she's continuing on this fight even after she left her Earth. So I'm down with it. I think it's really solidly written. The Supergirl part of it is a little bit weaker, but her character also is a lot more playful, like in the series proper. So I think it makes sense that, she was hidden away and didn't really ever get to see the severity of this war. It works for the character as well. Really, this just better informs both characters overall. So overall, I'm going to give this one I'm going to give it an 8. I'm not huge on Kevin Maguire's art, but it works for this, so I'm not that against it. That's pretty much the only thing that's really keeping it back. That, and it's not an incredible issue. It's not blowing my mind. It's very solid, though, and honestly, I think that it is worth the read here. So 8 for sure.